Racists don't discriminate, and neither should we. Hey, I'm Vijay Aditya.
Hi, I'm Vinitra.
Hi, I'm Helen.
Hi, I'm Lakshmi.
Hi, I'm Neem. We are Group 10 and we are going to present on structural inequality against Northeast Indians.
Structural inequality is defined as a condition where one category of people is attributed an unequal status in relation to other categories of people. This relationship is perpetuated and reinforced by a confluence of unequal relations in roles, functions, decisions, rights, and opportunities. Racial discrimination against Northeastern Indians who have Mongoloid facial features as opposed to other Indians who are racially categorized as brown has existed for decades. For a Northeast Indian, hearing a question, "Are you from China?" and being referred to as Chinky or any other such remarks are considered to be derogatory, mainly because such comments were not made out of ignorance but to otherize and question their belongingness. As the majority of people in Northeast India are from scheduled castes and tribes as well as ethnically Mongoloid people, their social profiling may be a reflection of India's caste traditions and social structure. India's northeast region comprises 8 border states including Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim. This region has historically experienced major issues such as unresolved socio-political turmoil, communal violence and lack of educational facilities and infrastructural development. This has not only affected peace and harmony among heterogeneous ethnic communities but have also resulted in stunted growth when it comes to education and job opportunities. Due to socio-political instability, globalization has not emerged in Northeast India. Despite the region's abundant natural riches and possibilities for international trade, private investment firms have deemed it unnecessary to invest. Globalization's employment boom had no impact on the region, which was one of the main reasons for the migration of people from the Northeast, along with the lack of educational infrastructure, limited education options, socio-political unrest, and communal conflict among the region's diverse communities.
Northeastern India has always been severely affected due to a lack of access to basic medical services. This can be due to a variety of factors including poor connectivity and road networks, low population densities, rugged terrain, and communities with limited livelihood. The women from the region are doubly profiled, from racial attacks to sexual violence and sometimes even human trafficking. The challenges encountered by Northeastern Indians in Delhi have taken a turn for the worst. Northeast Indians lack agency because there is a general reluctance to issue directives to law enforcement agencies to provide safety measures for the vulnerable. The inaction of on-duty cops, who are biased in giving assistance to vulnerable men and women subjected to racial and sexual assault, as well as the failure to prosecute the perpetrators, has fueled a slew of crimes against the Northeast Indian populations.
Big news update coming in. Authorities in China have cancelled hundreds of flights.
COVID situation in India now looks to be completely out of control.
They're fighting a war here and they're losing.
And we think COVID brought the country closer and more united than ever. Oh, we helped each other like everyone was our own family. These statements by the politicians about how the discrimination against the region has reduced to the size of a peppercorn is nothing but merely a hogwashed perspective. The students who studied in various reputed institutions were denied their campus placements despite having incredible academic and co-curricular records. India chose to believe in a student's nativity and the rumors surrounding it rather than their skills, intellect, and eloquence. Employees in many IT and MNCs were let go as they were infected with COVID. The companies chose to downsize by sacking the migrated native Northeast Indians as they were assumed to be the tools of the Chinese government assigned to infect all the employees with the coronavirus. Even the social helpers who were preferred to make our naans and guard our houses aren't preferred anymore. The teachers working under the government scheme created for the universalization of education, Sarva or Samagra Siksha Abhiyan, aren't being paid for the last 5 months. They have been conducting hybrid classes for their students and are yet given a cold shoulder in spite of their continuous protests.
1.3 lakh labourers working in the Tirupur district belong to the northeast region. They were physically attacked for missing 2 days of work and asking for masks during the COVID lockdown. They were denied the usual remuneration of rice, pulses, and cereals to ensure that they return back to their homes. This is one of many other stories where the labourers were thrown out of their positions without any legal complications. The government statistics show that almost 8% are unemployed in northeastern India, but it is quite the contrary in the practical 2021. The labourers weren't supported by their employers or their own state governments. Unemployed workers were promised incentives during the lockdown only to be turned down during the time of need.
The COVID-19 pandemic reinforced the racial notions many mainland Indians already held towards those people who originate from the northeastern states. This deep-rooted prejudice has especially affected women from the northeastern region. They are fighting a battle on three fronts: the deadly pandemic, racial discrimination, as well as everyday misogyny. Northeastern women have always been seen as easy and vulnerable. Their looks and dressing styles, so different from the women in mainland India, have always led them to be humiliated and exploited. This worsened during the virus outbreak. These women were often called chinkies and other dehumanizing racial and sexist slurs. There were various shocking incidents of women being spat at and deemed a carrier of the virus because they looked Chinese. Beauty, hospitality, and healthcare sectors often prefer women from the northeastern states, especially with the rising buzz of spa culture. But the pandemic made it difficult for these women to find jobs, even in such industries or elsewhere. Although many of these women were trained in nursing, they were hesitant to practice as their neighbors and landlords already had a false preconception that they carried the virus. Night shifts as jobs were also difficult, as many presumed that these women were sex workers.
All these instances show us how negatively the structural inequality against Northeastern Indians has impacted their lives, particularly those of the women's. They were often victims of discrimination within discrimination, constantly suffering and forever marginalized. The COVID-19 pandemic caused the largest disruption in the history of the education sector. One of the largest effects of the pandemic has been the inaccessibility of educational resources and support structures primarily for girls and women in the remote and marginalized parts of Northeast India. Every section of society had its own way in response to changes in school closures. The pandemic impacted the education sector crucially, making a new shift to digital learning models as educational institutions could not open for an on-campus instruction. Due to the inaccessibility of smartphones and gadgets, a large number of girls were unable to cope up with their education through the online mode, and their parents didn't find the need to continue the education of the girl child. The disruption of the education sector in the northeastern states had substantial effects which lead beyond education. This includes economic instabilities, food insecurity, and violence against women and girls. A study proved that women are bearing the greatest share of additional time spent on childcare and household tasks.
The education system will see heightened activity in the new advancements, technology, innovations, investments, and acquisitions in the education sector. However, in the pursuit of progressing with the new online model for education, it is essential that these advancements and technology reach the hands of the poor, underprivileged, and girls and women who deserve complete access to education. It is essential to keep ourselves aware of the gaps in the digital mode of conduct. Moreover, the government should provide an effective stimulus package that benefits the marginalized section to decrease their economic hardships due to the ongoing pandemic, because it will ensure that the girls and women are not exploited for labor purposes and they continue their education when schools and universities open. Otherwise, it will create a turmoil in an already fragile learning ecosystem in the region.
With the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in India, public healthcare facilities have become even more crucial. Yet residents in the northeast are concerned about their state's infrastructure capacity. The region's rugged terrain makes it difficult to get their healthcare services. Individual healthcare in India is delivered through a three-tier system: primary, secondary, and tertiary. People must first rely on these facilities for any medical requirements before being directed to tertiary care institutions, which are mainly located in large towns such as Guwahati and Shillong. In most of the states in this region, these basic healthcare facilities are in insufficient supply. There is a 50% shortfall of community healthcare centers in Assam. Tripura too has a 17% shortfall.
To add on, there is a supply gap of approximately 36,000 registered physicians and a 66% gap in the supply of trained nursing staff. Therefore, bridging the gap between infrastructure and staff is paramount to a robust primary health system. Furthermore, because many districts lack sufficient diagnostic facilities, quality diagnostics has always been a continual worry, and the services provided by tertiary care institutions are not always adequate. Many of the institutions here lack critical care equipment such as ventilators and specialized doctors. For example, cardiologists and neurosurgeons are not available at the Silchar Medical College in southern Assam, which also serves areas of Tripura, Mizoram, and Manipur.
Hopefully, the government will learn lessons from the COVID-19 disaster and work on improving the various issues faced by the people of the Northeast. The pandemic worsened the situation for women in the Northeast, and it is high time that we give them the respect and status that they deserve. The scope for job opportunities also must be increased and not just be limited to the old school jobs. Although the current situation is critical for the people of the Northeast, things can always be changed for the better.